The next type of undertaking is statutory corporations. Statutory corporations are nothing but they are public undertakings which were brought into existence, that is, they will be opened or they will come into existence by passing a special act of the parliament. So the act defines the powers and functions, rules and regulations that governs its employees as well as the relationship with the government departments, how the business has to be run. All these things are discussed or all these things are defined in the act. So what are the suitability and examples of the statutory corporation? The first one is the enterprises which require a huge amount of capital investment, they will opt for the statutory corporation and they have to run on a business lines. And the next one is the public interest must be kept in view by the enterprise. They have to see the public interest only. Examples of statutory corporation are Air India, Indian Airlines, Food Corporation, UTI, LIC, IDBI, Reserve Bank, Central Warehouse Corporation, Oil and Natural Gas Commission. Now, let us see the features of statutory corporation. So, the statutory corporation, as we know, they are established under a Act of Parliament and it is governed by the provisions of that Act. So, the powers, objects, and privileges of the corporation are defined by that Act. Second one is this wholly owned by the state. The government has the ultimate financial responsibility. Then, second one, it has separate legal entity. So, it can own any property. Own in the sense it can buy any property and it can enter into contract and it can file the case in its own name itself. Then the next one is the statutory corporation has its own rules and regulations regarding the recruitment and remuneration of its employees. That is, they can recruit, that is, they can appoint the employees on their own as well as their salary is also fixed by them itself. So, next one is it is managed and controlled by the board of directors who are nominated by the government. So, government interference will be less in that and not more in that. There will be no government interference in the routine working of corporation. Next one, statutory corporation has independent financial structure. That is, they prepare their own budget. They have the authority to retain its earnings. So, some profit they will retain for themselves for the expansion of the business. That is called as retained earnings, which you will read in the later part. And it enjoys financial autonomy. The next one, public accountability is also there. And finally, they are formed with a service motive and not with a profit aiming. So if profits are used only for the public welfare. So the next topic which we are going to see is merits of statutory corporation. The main merits are it's free from undesirable government regulation and control. That is, since it is formed by a special act in the parliament, there is no such government regulation in that. And the second one is the government usually does not interfere in their financial matter. They have a separate financial power and it is one of the autonomous organization, that is, it will not come under any control. They can frame their own policies, which are granted to them by the act. So they need not get any permission from anybody. That is the meaning of autonomous. And finally, they are a valuable instrument for economic development because it has the power of the government which is combined with the initiative of private enterprises. So the next one is what are the limitations of statutory corporation? So what are the limitations? The first one is in actual practice, the public corporation will not enjoy much operational flexibility. That is, they cannot do the operations as they wish. All the actions are subject to many rules and regulations because every rules and regulations will be mentioned in the act. That is, which is passed in the parliament. They will have all set of rules and regulations with them. And the second one is government interference and political interference will always be there in order to take important decision. Even though they say that it is controlled by a separate act, they have a lot of interference in that. And then third one is anti-social practices they may involve or they may indulge in it. What is meant by that? Here, anti-social practices means they may charge high price from the customers in order to cover up the inefficiency. So that is one of the greatest disadvantages of this statutory company because the government will not have the interference in controlling the price. And then the next one is it reduces the freedom of the enterprise. Who reduces the freedom? An advisor from the government will be appointed to this statutory enterprise. So his presence will reduce the freedom of the enterprise in order to enter into contracts or take some independent decisions. The next one is the constitution of a public corporation is rigid. What is meant by rigid? That is, it cannot be changed. So, constitution of a public corporation in the sense the rules and regulations of the public corporation are very rigid, that it cannot be changed or amendment cannot be made without changing the act. So, it is very difficult in order to change it. And then next one is functioning may turn out to be inefficient because they will not face any stiff competition. Since they don't have any profit objective, the functioning of the organization may turn to be inefficient. Finally, the members of the board of directors of a public corporation are appointed by the government, and there will be politicians, civil servants, and professionals. So, in many cases, they lack professional education and training which are required to manage the corporation. This turned to be